Recently, I indulged myself with a Panasonic AG-AC90 camcorder. It was cheaper than the other option and came with many accessories and lamps. Of course, there was a catch and the issue was mold in the lens assembly. I negotiated the price, thinking I could just dismantle and clean the lens. Indeed, it is only the front lens, right? Unfortunately, when dismantling the camcorder lens, I quickly realized that the mold wasn't inside the lens assembly, but inside the front lens element. The particularity of this element is that it isn't possible to disassemble it as it is two lenses glued together. Fortunately, there is a method to clean such assembly. It doesn't cost much in equipment, just a bit of time and patience. In order to clean this lens, you need to disassemble it from the lens assembly. This is specific to your equipment, so I won't cover this part. You will need the following equipment: a vacuum container with its pump, a smaller container that can fit the lens but also fit inside the vacuum container, a solvent as pure as possible and that dries without traces. I used 99.9% IPA that I tested to ensure it doesn't leave traces. And also lens cleaning, microfiber and liquid, as you will most likely need it. Ensure everything is very clean. You can use the solvent if needed. First, you will need to clean the entire external surface of the lens. The goal is to ensure that dust and particles that could go in the lens during the cleaning are washed up. I just used IPA and a soft brush. Now, put the lens in the small container with the lens vent on top. You may not know where is this vent yet, but that's okay, as you will follow the process several times. Pour the solvent until the lens is completely covered. Now, you can put the small container inside the vacuum container. The cleaning. Close the lid and put a light vacuum. You will see air bubbling out of the lens. Now, it is the time to identify from where the air is going out of the lens, the vent, and position it on the upper position. This will help the air to go out. Remove vacuum and reapply vacuum until the lens is nearly full of solvent. Personally, I keep a little air bubble. It allows me to clean a bit better by shaking the lens full of solvent. Indeed, you don't have access inside the lens and the solvent may require a bit of mechanical scrubbing by the air bubble to help removing the mold. Removing the solvent. Removing the solvent is the difficult step. Remove the lens from the solvent bath and put it again in the vacuum chamber. Put the lens vent on the bottom. It will allow the solvent to escape the lens. If you can, put the lens a little bit elevated from the bottom of the container to allow the solvent to drip out of the lens and not going back in. Then you will again do several cycles of vacuum and back to ambient pressure to slowly remove the solvent. I suggest to remove 80% of the solvent and repeat the cleaning and solvent removal process 2 or 3 times to ensure a good cleaning. Indeed, if the solvent inside the lens is contaminated, it will make traces after the solvent dried. The last step. Once you are satisfied with the cleaning, you will need to remove the remaining solvent. Use the same vacuuming technique, but at the end ensure that the last bubble of solvent is close to the vent by shaking the lens accordingly and vacuuming again. Once you don't have any more bubble of solvent, you can just let it dry in air. Don't try to speed up the process with it. It can be quite long, but let it dry at ambient temperature. The result: you should obtain a far cleaner lens. It can still have slight white traces, as it is impossible to just wipe clean the lens, but the result shall be 100 times better than a moldy lens. Reassemble the lens in the lens assembly, cleaning your fingerprint with the lens cleaner if needed, and enjoy your clean lens. Here, the before and after of the lens. The result is very satisfying and the investment was low, mostly time. Tell me if you also tried this method and what result you got. I am very happy to have repaired my Panasonic camcorder that is now fully functional, making it a great deal. Thank you for your time.